Hey traders, Parker here with the Seasonality Edge bundle. I was finally able to complete the updates and make sure a lot of things was working on the indicator. So without further ado, here's the bundle, or here's the finished product. So just waiting for everything to load up. So this is everything you're going to begin with this bundle. You're going to get the sector season analysis. That's down here. You're going to get the sector quarterly labels, the seasonality percent change here. You're going to get this relative strength percent change. That's this indicator here that I already offered separately from this bundle. You're going to get the seasonality scan. You're going to get the relative strength percent change with the correlation scan ability as well. You're going to get this upper indicator seasonality analysis open. All these percent changes from up at the top of the screen are from the open. That's why I labeled it the open. The scan, these are all your watch list labels. You're going to get all the months. I suggest that you just use the watch list column for the month that you're actually in. This is the one for the month of January. You're going to get the you're going to get the yearly change, the quarterly change, the monthly change, percent change, week percent change, day percent change, then the market diff. That's basically how does your stock on this day or month is compared to the market. Basically, its percent change minus the market's percent change, or the S&P 500 percent change. And you can go in there if you don't want to use the S&P percent change. You can change that symbol to another symbol. But you can see how these differ. If it's doing better than the S&P 500 on this day or whatever time frame you want, it'll be bright green. If it's continuation of doing better. If it's coming down or coming back in line with the S&P 500, then it'll be dark green. As you can see right here with the percent change day and the market percent change, you can see some of these are kind of similar, because these are the best stocks right now that are doing the most with the S&P 500. But you can also see where these stocks over here, I have this correlation set on 5 days. So you get this label for a strong correlation, weak divergence, strong divergence, or weak correlation. Anything with a 1 is showing strong correlation. You see a 9.9. These are the ones that have the strongest correlation with the S&P 500 right now. And then you see anything that's 50 or lower, should have been 50 or lower, but anything with 50 or lower should be a weak correlation, but anything 50 and above is strong correlation. Anything with a negative 0, well, I say negative 50 to negative 0.50 to 0 will be weak divergence. It just means that it doesn't have a strong correlation. They're kind of going away from each other, but at a weaker difference than over the 5-day period than it is the stronger one right here. So you can say this stock right here has a strong divergence from the or strong weak, very weak correlation with the S&P 500. So that's the one I selected in there. What else? I wanted to show one more thing. So let me get rid of these labels. Well, if you have not seen my previous videos on these labels, the reason why these two are dark because they don't have 10 years worth of data. So this will be the real estate and that'll be communication. So I'm going to switch this to a 5-year day. And those will come up and you'll see for the years, everything will change. So when you're using this indicator right here, you have to change the month. And when you're using the scan, you have to change the month as well. But aside from that, everything else is fully automated. Those are the only ones you basically have to change unless you're changing the year. But these are the sectors down here. They go from the, I think the highest holding to the lowest holding for the S&P 500. So tech, S&P 500 is tech heavy, but then you get these indices as well. The S&P 500. I put all these in the futures so that you can get ahead of the game when the actual day starts. You can see these. So I'm gonna start getting rid of some of these. But let me go with this. So these are my quarterly labels, but they're just basically whatever time frame you choose percent change. So if I wanted to look at the day percent change, I would change this to the day. But it's gonna alert you here with this label telling you what time frame you're looking for your percent change. There's no length in there. There's just gonna be whatever percent change it is for that time period. Here's your regular seasonality labels down here. I put in there the percent change. I put in there the up and down also. So this is our current percent change for January right now. From the open is 24%. And you should see that reflected here within this monthly label. Last February, this is last February percent change. All these other percent changes that it's showing, it's only because these are the past percent changes. But these current forecasts right here are current, and they would shift every December. On the original indicator, they would shift at the end of each month. But I didn't like that, so I wanted to, more so when I was doing some back testing, I wanted to be to stay on the specific month before it changed. So I changed everything to December. So everything really within here will count December as its years. So there's enough Decembers on your screen, or whatever symbol you're looking at, it will count those Decembers as your new year. Or the end of December actually is your new year. So let me get rid of those labels and let's go into what I did with this. So this is a visual aid. I think I don't have enough time on here, but it'll show you the difference between everything. So this is a visual aid of a histogram that's showing you the difference on each one of these months or each one of these days. I'm not sure why it's not showing this on the video like it should. So let's switch it back to 10-year day. I don't know why it didn't like the 5-year, but it's showing everything on the day. So you can see from here that it's showing you these prior years and these prior months, those percent changes, and you can see how they line up with those labels. That's why I was emphasizing a few minutes ago when I was talking about I changed everything to December. So if you would look back here at December, or I would crush that back. So December is usually a down month, so it's usually down. It's saying 3.41. That's probably because it updated, but it's 2.42, and that's one of the deals. I apologize in advance, but sometimes it updates on its own, even though it's not another December right there. So let me close. Let me get back in the right zoom. But you can see how this 3.67% is already up. It's showing you the same thing here. So February should be showing you 7.23 because they've all been updated. That's why these are not showing correctly, because these have been updated because it's a new year. So these were the past ones. These percentages were the past. While this one is showing the current one, and the next one, February, will show the current one. That's why in that one sense those labels aren't lined up. But that's just a histogram showing you the visual aid of what's going on, and that's over 10 years. So let me get rid of that, and let me get to the relative strength. So this is the relative strength percent change. So that's one of the things I talked to you about on the label. But this one has an average, and I have this on the video. It's showing the current stock versus the NASDAQ futures and its relative strength. So NVIDIA is beating the NASDAQ 22. The difference between the NASDAQ and the NVIDIA is 22.42%. It's outperforming NVIDIA, and the correlation is strong, 0.97, that they move together. And you can see down here This blue line right here is kind of works like the whole move average. If it's the average of the diff. So the difference is this histogram right here. And you can see right here the labels for NVIDIA and the labels for the NASDAQ. So let me get that off. And these are the two scans. They don't they're not going to show you anything. They're just used in the scanner here. You don't have to have those on the actual screen. And here you can see you have the current high, current week high. You have the 52-week high, the month high, and the week high. And then you have the previous week high. You have the current week low, previous week low, previous month. Let me zoom in. Previous close, the current open, the month low, the previous month low. And you have your difference as well. Your percent change average. That's the other thing I changed in his labels. Change on this indicator was changing the percent average. So this is your percent change average is 3.67% over the course of 10 years. If you look at it average change was 3.67%. And that would have put you at $510. And you can see how we start the month down and then we pushed above, and now it's actually just rocketing in the head. So that's just something extra that's in there, is that percent change average. So it just takes an average over the difference percent changes over the 10 years for January and divides it by 10. These gray boxes that you're seeing down here this is showing an inside month. So really for the month of December, it was an inside month, meaning that price just ranged here in the month of December, and then January you finally got this breakout. And this violet or this light blue box right here is showing you an inside week. You can see also from these labels there's a gap up day. There's a small gap here. It's barely noticeable, but it's there, and that's why it's telling you it's a gap up. And you'll get some other information from here, whether it be a gap up day, week, or month, or it's a gap down day, week, or month. Bullish engulfing day, week, or month. Bearish engulfing day, week, or month, or it's an inside day, inside week, inside month. So this label here, these labels will tell you everything. You can see right here, this is the same information that was done in those lower labels. For each, this is going to change for every month, while the other labels showed you all the months. This will show you the current month. This is the average range over 10 years. You take the ranges for the last 10 years, you divide by 10. It's been $21.30. The current high-low range is $155.29. And you can see it's over 700. Its range has changed 729%. That's and these labels will change color. These two will change color. This one's showing yellow because it's in this extreme value. Normally it'll be gray or cyan to give you a warning, depending on what percentage the stock is used. But this is just at extreme levels. The 52-week high, this level will change too according to where it is. This RP stands for relative position. So the closed relative position within the 52-week high and low, this one's at 96.61%. This is your week change from open, month change from open, quarterly change from open, year change from open. You can go in there, you can change almost everything. Anything that you don't want to see, you can cut those labels off. You can cut the bubbles off. You can change the fibs as well. So these blue lines right here, what you're seeing is the Fibonacci levels for this 52-week high and low. And you can see right here, here's your current 52-week low. I haven't added the bubbles to the fib levels, but I can tell you right now, this is within 10% of the high. 52-week high. This is 78.6. Next one 61.8, 38.2, 20, 23.8, and then you have your last one within 10% of the 52-week high and low. I'm not sure why it's showing lower than that right now, but for the most part, that's what those fields represent. Probably because it's waiting for the next day for everything to change because of the way I have these lines up here drawn. But you can pretty much change everything that's in there. These are all the different options which you can choose from. Here's everything that's in there: previous week high and low. Here's your globules, the things you can change. You can change those labels. I have those black spaces between these labels, and you can change those. But you can go in there and go change everything. So that's everything that you're gonna get in this bundle. We can go back to the scanner and we can see everything. I'm going to get rid of all these extra all these extra months. I'm going to remove, and we're gonna focus on January. I'm just gonna do a scan real quick, and it's probably gonna be too much because I'm gonna scan the whole entire market, and we're just gonna go over a few of the stocks that it brings up. So there we go. And let's add the seasonality scan. We're gonna go to study. Going to go over here. Need to put this on a month. Edit. Study. Oops. There we go. And when you're doing the scan, whatever month you're on, you need to change the month as well. So this give you a percent change positive with anything that's with a positive percent change over the 10 years or over the amount of years there. But I want to look for this is where you get your edge. I want to know what's up 50% on average or greater. So this is where you get your edge right here. So I'm going to put true, then 1 bar. I'm going to press OK. And I'm going to push this to the max. It's going to give me some weird stuff. But it's going to, you'll request a large amount, and it's going to use a lot of stuff. So it did give me one bad one. That's some deal with this scanner. You're going to get some bad ones, but for most part, you're going to get all the good ones. So this is the criteria I put in. Right now, these are all the stocks that are up 5%. I meant to change the criteria, but these are all the ones that are currently up 5% today. Let me just change that. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm going to go all out. Let's see what it gives us. Anything with 1 million volume. So it's telling me now I exceeded. This is what happens when you have too many labels on there. And I've exceeded the, subscription limit. So custom stuff. So let me just put in something else that it will help me narrow down. So when you're actually using this indicator, using the scan, you're going to put in your parameters. Whatever you care about, that's what you're going to put in there. And that's in terms of what type of stocks you're looking for. P ratios, all these different things, or whatever you want to look for as a good stock. So I'm going to put in volume and average. Where is it? Volume, average. And I'm going to look for the average. I'm going to look for value. Where is it? Let me do over a 20-day period. Let's see. Is greater than or equal to value and I'm going to press 2 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then 1 bar. And that should help me narrow it down to a certain amount of stocks. Yes. It's giving me the same thing. So let me narrow it down even more. So let's narrow it down, because this is some of the issues you're going to run into. So let's narrow it down to one other. So we'll go back to percent change. So I'm going to look for anything with the percent change. No, I'm not going to do that. Let's go here and let's look at an industry, which is one of the best industries right now, or outperforming industries right now, is our information technology sector. It still gave me a few bad ones. I don't understand why ThinkorSwim did that, but for the most part, it did. So I forgot what I did with this label. So all of these are up. So you see the jam percent is up, but it's the difference. So the average difference over 10 years is below 0. So that's something extra that I put in there to give you an even more of an advantage. And I forgot I did it. So if the average difference is negative or below 0, you'll get a red. Or if the if it's just 50%, that means you have a 50-50 chance. So that's another reason why this one is red, even though it's showing up in the scan, but it's also isolating it because of the 50. It only has 50%, so it's a flip of the coin. Whether you really don't have an advantage with this stock. This one you have a greater advantage. The next ones you have greater advantage. So I would choose any of these right here that are not red. Even though they're greater, even though they have up 50% of the time or greater than 50% of the time, you can still have, on average, it finishes negatively. So it's just something I forgot that I programmed in there while I was working with the indicator, working with the code. But it's a fail safe just so you'll find the best stocks. So AYX, I can't remember this one. Saying has a weak correlation with the S&P 500. Aftermarket to it should have an average volume greater than 2 million. So I'm going to look at, I think I looked at AYH and I pressed the wrong button. So let me get that back on there. Get this back on here. What did I say? AYX. I want to say I looked at this one and it was garbage. And it is. I forgot the reason. It hasn't really moved much. So DocuSign, DOCU. So when I'm really giving you a perspective now of the ability of the scan to find these stocks that are with the seasonality edge, or the edge of seasonality. And we can see right now, this is usually up 66.67%. So it must be down this other percent right here. And here's your current percent change, or your average percent change over 6 years. So when you have only 6 years, or not at when you have less, you have this extra year in there. It's either 5 years or 10 years. That's what the scanner works best on. So if I go back to DocuSign and we come over to here, we only really have these 6 years to work off of, and it's giving you a different average percent, but it's still a good stock for you to look at for these 5 years or these 6 years worth of data. I still have not figured out why the labels are giving you something different from what's on the screen. I don't know why, but whatever the data that the labels are using compared to what's on the screen, it just seems somehow different. Because I can't scan for, I guess that's probably one of the reasons why right there. I can't scan for this stock over 10 years, so it's giving me what data is there. So it's actually showing, it's reflecting what data it has. So I pushed it back down. So anything within, I say 6 or 7 years, you probably want to use 5 if it doesn't have the amount of data. But anything closer to 10, you could probably still use the 10 years on the screen. But it gave you pretty much the same thing, that 5.2%. So we go back over here, you see that it gave you a little difference of 5.4. But this is me being honest with you about the accuracy of the scanner and the labels and everything. So there's a small difference there, 5.4 and 5.6. But DocuSign still is a good stock. It pushed above. Everything was basically down at the beginning of the month. So it gave you an opportunity to buy in, especially at holding this previous week low. So TSM, it finished way ahead, 102 to 115. So this allows you to sort the market, or sort whatever sector that you want to sort for these stocks with the seasonality edge. Here's your year change, your quarterly, your month, and you could just look over and see how these stocks are doing for this time period. Right now, the year, the quarter, and the month are going to be the same. So you'll be more so relying on the week and the day, and also the market difference as well, and the correlation to the to whatever symbol that you have selected for these for the correlation or the market difference, or the difference between whatever symbol or stocks that you have selected for that. So this is pretty much going to be the end of the video. I can go through a few more of these. Shop is one of the ones that I believe is still up. But this is how you build the seasonality edge. And you can see, let me get rid of my drawings and we can look at Shop. Here's the open. Like I said, everything was down in the beginning of the month, and you can see where Shop actually went right up there to that 8.97%, and it hit it again today. Came back, touched its open and its previous close, and pushed back above. And you can almost look at it, it came right down to these fibs as well. But for the most part, it's giving you the edge to be able to find these stocks that are usually up within that month over a course of amount of years. The other thing that I programmed in here, it's not going to give you anything less than 5 years. So what I found out doing the research, anything less than 5 years worth of data is not going to be very helpful, very accurate. You can take this. How long has Shop been around? Has it been around? Let's figure out the max. You could take this and put it on something that's been around for longer. And I'm just going to go to Tesla. So we're going to look at Tesla, and we can see the Tesla's been around 11 years. That's it. I thought Tesla's been around longer than that. But on average, it's up 50% of the time. But because of some of the issues going on with Elon Musk, Tesla's down. Also, they miss earnings too. They miss earnings bad. Yep. So Tesla wasn't a good one for me to put it on. But usually Tesla's up. But you can see right now it's not working out for Tesla. So this is probably going to be overboard because it's pushing all the way back to 20 years and it's looking at January. You can see where it says gap up week as well. So over the course, it might push more. So over the course of 29 years, the S&P 500 has been up 55% of the time and down 40% of the time, and had an average diff of let's say 10% in January. So it already did that. So I'm going to. Oh, I put this on a week as well. So that's another issue. So let's push it back to the 10-year. And you saw where it said slightly. It didn't have enough years for data, that little pink label. So if you put it on something that with not a lot of years, like, let me just look at this real quick. So used for the past 10 years, the S&P 500 has been, I already done this, so I apologize. So let me just go to something that has been around for a long time, ETSY. So we'll just go to Etsy. Etsy's been around 10 years or 9 years. I'm looking for something that has not been around for it's been around. So Coinbase has not been around 5 years. So it's saying you less than 5 years worth of data. So it's not going to give you anything. It'll give you a 52-week high, it'll give you a week, month, quarter, yearly change, but it's not going to give you any other data seasonality wise. And it's showing you have an inside week. Here's the cloud for the inside week. Your previous week high, previous week low is still trading within that, and still reeling off of the Bitcoin news. And Bitcoin is supposed to be halving, so you might get another push out of this. But this is going to be, let's see, that should be everything. So this is going to be the end of the video. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to what I had to say. I hope that it was helpful. Remember, nothing I said is for financial advice or me telling you to buy or sell anything. This is for informational purpose and entertainment only. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And I wish you guys the best. Stay safe out there and God bless. Look in the link in the description for the indicator.